Hey everyone, Nick from Procross Tactical here. Today I'd like to basically just talk about a few things with the draw stroke and how it might differ from uh, a holster that might be mounted on your belt at a belt height versus a drop leg holster. Um, you can see that in the video both Logan and myself are going to be using Serpal style holsters from Blackhawk. Now I know there's been some kind of questions about how safe they might be, uh, but I think really the biggest thing with that is the training aspect of it. Um, I don't think there's something inherently wrong with those holsters. I think they retain really well, and for what we do, doing a lot of CrossFit stuff, they do a really good job. One of the things that I'd like to touch on before we get started and kind of dissecting a draw stroke between the two different styles, whether that's a drop leg holster or a mounted on your belt, is that there's a couple of inherent issues with a drop leg holster. Is that you're going to tend to swing the gun up, like what they say bowling. You don't want to cast a fishing rod and you don't want to bowl, but I don't think there's much you can do about getting that bowling stroke out. If you're doing a drop leg holster, you can see Logan here in the slow motion. He's trying really hard to get that gun pushed out forward and get it on target, but it still takes him a while to make sure that he can get that front sight back on target after kind of swinging that up. If you look at his reaction time, it's just as fast as mine, but getting it in and out of that holster is takes a lot longer. You just look in a slow motion of mine, you can see that from the time the threat is called and even fumbling with the retention device just a little bit, I can get that gun out, pointed downrange, and get that first round off relatively quickly. Now there are benefits to having a drop leg holster over a holster that you'd have mounted on your belt. Obviously that would be if you were using it as a secondary weapon. Law enforcement, it's usually going to be a primary weapon, so having it on your hip and having it on the belt is going to be a more likely scenario. Whereas if you're military or something like that, and you're carrying an AR or a shotgun or something like that, and it's not your primary weapon, a drop leg is going to be much more useful because it's not going to be in the way. It's just kind of a couple different takes on it, whether a drop leg is necessary for you or not. That would be the question. But regardless, getting that pistol on target downrange is a little bit harder to do with a drop leg from my experience. You don't get that linear draw. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions, feel free to contact.